Today we'll talk about the Gayatri Mantra. Now, the author was of the Gayatri Mantra. His name is Vishwamitra, who was a rishi. It's a very interesting story of how the Gayatri Mantra descended into him, came to him. Now he was a Kshatriya. He was the son of the king of Kanauj, and his name was Kaushik. And on one of his exploits, when he was returning from battle with his army, he took shelter in the ashram of sage Vashishta. And Vashisht fed him and his whole army very well, looked after them very well. So he was wondering that how could the rishi who lives in such a what you call simplicity in his ashram, how could he feed my whole army? So Rishi Vashisht told him that he had a divine cow. And this cow was gifted to him by Indra, and whatever he asked of the cow gave. So the cow was able to feed the whole army. The cow's name was Nandini, and she was the daughter of Kamdhenu, the wish-fulfilling cow. Kamdhenu is called. And whatever you ask her for, Nandini provides you. Now, Kaushik, the emperor's son, he said that such a cow should be with the king. How can a poor rishi own such a cow? So you please give me this cow. And so the sage says, no, I cannot part with the cow. So then the Kaushik tells his army to attack the sage and take the cow forcibly. But the rishi with his powers destroys the whole of his army. And when he comes back to his palace, Kaushik, and he's so upset because he had a huge army, and that huge army could not defeat a simple rishi. So he said that the real powers in life is in not being a king or in having an army. The real powers in life are spiritual powers. So he did tapa for so many years, and he acquired some powers. And with his new powers, he destroyed Vashisht's ashram and killed all of Vashisht's children. But he could not kill the sage Vashishta. Then again he went and did tapa. And after the tapa, he went to the Lord Brahma and told Brahma to make him a Brahma Rishi. So Brahma says that I cannot make you a Brahma Rishi, you are a Raj Rishi. We could take this as levels in consciousness. You are a Raj Rishi. The only Brahma Rishi is the sage Vashishta. So Vishwamitra, because he had changed his name after he became he left the kingdom and he started doing tapa, his name was Vishwamitra. He decides that he could not take this anymore, so he's going to kill Vashishta. So he goes in the night to Vashishta's ashram, and there on the terrace, Vashisht and his wife Arundhati are sitting there together, and there was a beautiful moonlight, and Arundhati, that is Vashisht's wife, says that this Bharga, the effulgence of the moon, right, the effulgence of the moon was incomparable to anything in the universe. That no light was, and we can take the word effulgence to mean light of light, right? So this shining power of the moon, nothing in the universe can compare with that. So Vashisht answers her that you are right, the light is so great, the shining of the light is so great, but it cannot compare with the sadhana, the austerity of Vishwamitra. His sadhana, his austerity is much greater. Now, you see here, we have to understand that he has already killed all of Vashisht's children, but Vashisht has no negativity, no of revenge against him. Now, Vishwamitra was just behind the pillar and he was listening to this thought, and the knife was in his hand where he wanted to kill Vashishta. When he heard this, he came and fell at Vashisht's feet and he gave him the knife. He says, I had come to kill you, but I give up this knife. Now we can understand in this that here he is free from the sanskar of revenge. Right? There's freedom from the sanskar of revenge. And so then Vashishta replies to him that you rise Brahma Rishi. That Vashishta says now you have become a Brahma Rishi, when you're free of the the memory pattern, the desire to take revenge. And at that moment, from Vishwamitra's mouth, this comes to him, Tat Savitu Varenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yonaha Prachodayat. Right? And this became the Gayatri Mantra. Now, here in his disciples, Vishwamitra's disciples, there were two other people who later became rishis on their own. One was Bharadwaj and one was a lady called Gargi. And they then added the first line, Om Bhu Bhuva Swaha. That line does not come from Vishwamitra, it came from his disciples. And they also saw that the Gayatri Mantra, Tat Savitu Varenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yonaha Prachodayat. So Varenyam, the Shabd, Varenyam, they saw that the meter, the chanda in these words was 23 and a half. 23 and a half. So they changed the word Varenyam to Varenyam. They added half a matra to it. And it became 24, and 24 was the Gayatri Chanda. That is why it was called the Gayatri Mantra. 24 being the Gayatri Chanda. So, we try to go into the meaning of the mantra. Now we must understand, in Sanskrit there are two kinds of meanings. One which comes from the word, the dhatu, which is a part of Sanskrit grammar. And one which comes from the phonetic speaking of the word, what they call the ucha, what do you call the vibration of the word itself. So the meaning of the mantra would be one, but when we are saying the mantra, the words are again rearranged to give it a phonetic power, or in a way that the saying of the mantra creates a certain higher state of vibration, right? It rearranges our karma, it rearranges the memory pattern, the sanskars inside, and it transforms so many things within us. So to make the mantra powerful, half a matra was added, and the words were put in a way in which the mantra could be said and make it powerful, to make it powerful as a mantra. Now, the meaning of the mantra, we will first try to have a look at the meaning of the mantra. It will go in this way. Om Bhubhuva Swaha Savita Devasya Varenyam Tat Bhargaha Dhimahi Yaha Naha Dhiyo Prachodaya. So when we want to explain the meaning of the mantra, we have to take it in this way. This is the way we have to take the mantra. Okay. Now, we'll just go into the words a little. Now, before we go into the words, what did the two disciples of Vishwamitra, why did they rearrange the first line? They made a new first line, Om Bhubhuva Swaha. And Bhubhuva Swaha is they are called as Vyaruti. Now, Vyaruti means an utterance, something which we speak, but it also means that the seven lokas. Now, here we have to understand that this moment of creation, say we take it just in a way, that in the beginning was nothing, a vast emptiness. In that vast emptiness, certain forces started gathering together, and this meeting of forces created what is called a stress. Don't take stress as the stress as we what you call experience in everyday life, more like cosmic stress. That is, because there's a pull and push of forces, a kind of cosmic stress is created. And when the stress comes to a certain point, a certain explosion happens. The stress breaks, right? And this breaking of the cosmic stress is called as the creative process. Now, what happens in the breaking of the cosmic stress? So they call that point of cosmic stress in our Shastra is called as Bindu. So when you do the Omkar, the first thing which comes on top is the Bindu. This is that point where there was nothing had been expressed, but it was that point in time and space where everything was on the verge of what you call being expressed, right? And so that point is called as Bindu. Now, the minute the Bindu moves, that there is separation in the Bindu, and that separation they call the separation of Shiva and Shakti, the separation in the Bindu. Two things are created. One is movement, right? And the other is sound. So that sound is what we call as Omkar. Omkar. So, but there is a Shastra in our this thing which says that first there was the movement, right? And other Shastra, the first was the sound, and that first was the movement. There is a Shastra in our it's called the Spanda Karika. Correct? Now, in that Omkar, it's like this, that you have a bucket of water and you throw a stone in the water, a big stone in the water. Then all the ripples are created simultaneously at the same time. Okay? Can you get what I'm trying to say? Similarly, in this manifestation of Om, because the mantra starts with the word Om, in this manifestation of Om, what the ripples which were created, they are called as Vyarutis. My father-in-law had his own interpretation of this word Vyaruti, and he used to call it in Gujarati, of course, Vyapak Rite Patraye Luche. Right? So, that original light, Vyapak Rite Patraye Luche, which is fragmented across these three zones called Bhu, Bhuva, Swa. So, in that original Omkar, all the seven loks were created. Can you Bhu, Bhuva, Swaha, Maha, Jana, Tapa, Satyam. All the seven loks were created. So many adepts of the Gayatri Mantra, they don't just take Bhu, Bhuva, Swaha. They say because Omkar is there, it is talking of all the seven Vyarutis. And others take it as Bhu, Bhuva, Swaha. Right? Now, what does it mean, this Bhu, Bhuva, Swaha, Vyapak Rite Patraye, that which is spread out? So the rishis are trying to give us a kind of what you call boundary in which we start this mantra, we start the understanding of this mantra. Right? So, supposing I want to go on a journey, right? And I say, I want to go on this journey, but I don't have enough money. But I have money, but it is, I put it in all different places, some with a friend, somewhere. So, I'll go and collect all my money from my friends, from the bank, or whatever I have, wherever I have the money, and I'll then spend for my ticket and go on the journey. Similarly, the Rishi is saying that your attention is fragmented in three universes. Bhu, Bhuva, Swaha. If you want to go on this journey of Gayatri, now it's very significant here because Gayatri, the name is female and the mantra is male. Right? So so many mysteries you can uncover in this one mantra. So, they're saying that your attention is fragmented in Bhulok. So in Bhulok comes the world of things, objects, right? So some of my attention will be stuck in my house, some will be stuck in my car, some will be stuck in my bank balance, right? And it could be, so what is the what do you call, symptom that my attention is stuck.
Tension or worry.
Worry. Heartburn. Yeah? So, if something happens to my car, right, the car is not going to feel heartburn, but I'll feel it inside. अपने गुजराती में से कि मारो जीव पर से गाड़ी को जीव नहीं बढ़े. You understand why? Because I'm attached to the car. My attention is stuck in the car. Now the Rishi is saying that he's not asking you to leave the car. He's saying you want to go on this journey, you need money, you take it back from the car. You take the attention back from the car. So I may have a very nice house or something, right? And then somebody comes in the house with muddy shoes, right? So nothing happens to the house, but I feel hurt inside, I feel. So I'm attached to the house. So the Rishi is saying you keep living in the house, but you take your attention back, you break the attachment. And it's very simple because 20 years ago somebody else may have said this is my house, 20 years later somebody else may also say this is my house, right? So he's saying in this bhulok, your attention is fragmented all over the place. Bring it back. He's saying in the bhuvalok your attention is. Bhuvalok is the world of relationships, right? So I'll say, I'm attached to my son. So the Rishi is saying, keep loving your son, but take the attachment back, otherwise your attention is stuck with the son, what he is doing. If he fails in the exam, you will get upset, etc. So in all our relationships, right, our attention gets stuck, right? If somebody calls you for dinner, does not call me for dinner, I feel upset because my attention is stuck in the world of relationship. And finally, my attention is stuck in the world of thought. So I have one thought that I'm an Indian, and if somebody says something against India, I get upset. I may have another thought that, I'm of this caste or I'm a Hindu. If somebody says something against Hindus, again I'll get upset, right? So, he's saying in these three worlds, your attention is stuck, but you want to go on this journey of Gayatri. You want to take your attention back to the source of attention. Free your attention. We don't have free attention. All our attention is stuck. That is why he calls it Vyaruti, Vyapak Rite Patrayalu attention. Right? So he's saying Bhu Bhuva Swaha. Now here we can take this in two different ways. That these two rishis, Gargi and Bharadwaj, they are giving us an outline that this mantra is limited to this boundary of Bhu Bhuva Swaha. Right? Is limited to this boundary of Bhu Bhuva Swaha. But there is also the Omkar at the beginning. They put the Omkar at the beginning. So you say not only Bhu Bhuva Swaha, but also Maha Jana Tapa Satya. Right? So they are giving us two, what you call, planes in which to play with this mantra. The first is within Bhu Bhuva Swaha, and the other is beyond Bhu Bhuva Swaha, right? In the other planes of existence. Right? So it starts with this Om Bhu Bhuva Swaha, right? Savita Devasya Varenyam. Savita Devasya Varenyam. Tat Bhargaha Dhimahi Yahanaha Diyo Prachodaya. Now we just go into each word. So we've been through Bhu Bhuva Swaha as the cellular universe, the molecular universe or the world of relationships, and the electronic universe, the world of thought. Now, he's saying in this Bhu Bhuva Swaha, Savita Devasya Varenyam. this Savita Dev, the sun which is shining in front of us, this Savita Dev, which is this sun which is shining in front of us, is Varenyam. Varenyam means worth worshipping, worth choosing. We use the word Swayamvar, where the bride chooses the husband. So in these three words, if there's anything worth choosing, Om Bhu Bhuva Swaha, it is this Savita Dev who is shining in front of us. So he's saying Om Bhu Bhuva Swaha Savita Devasya Varenyam. Now here there is a kind of, because two meanings are going to come out of this, Savita Devasya, right? Now even the word Savita, one of the roots it comes from is Su, that is to give birth to, the creative process, the generative process in the universe, right, which gives birth to everything that gives all birth, life, death on the planet Earth is because of the sun. So the creator, but if you take it in another way, it also comes from the root U, to create. So she is the, the giving birth process and also the creator. Now just let us take a look at the 7 loks in a different way. I don't know if any of you have read Mr. Tavaria's Purpose of Birth and Death. It is a very modern explanation of the Gayatri Mantra. And here he says that Bhu Bhuva Swaha, right? The physical universe, the astral universe, the electronic universe. It is surrounded by a circle called Mahakal, the big time, or the big, memory. And beyond that is the, is Jana. Jana is divine fragment, Atma. Tapa is divine wholeness, Paramatma. But Paramatma expressed. And beyond that is Satyam, Paramatma unexpressed. So the 3 loks above, 3 loks below, in between is Maha. Right? So when we look at the words over here, Jana Tapa Satyam. Jana is the world of the Atmas, the divine fragment. And just the word to give birth to, Jana, to give birth to create. Right? How do we, in normal life, forget the mantra and everything, how do we in normal life connect to that lok, that higher lok? How do we connect to that lok?
Through creativity.
By creativity. Whenever we are doing anything with creativity and we are enjoying that creativity, not to show to someone that I am so creative, right? But when we are enjoying that creativity, then we are in that state, we are connecting to that higher universe, that Jana Lok, that higher universe. Right? And it could be a simple thing, I arrange these things creatively, instead of just chaotically. So, Om Bhu Bhuva Swaha Tat. Now this word Tat is one of the most important words in the whole Vedic literature. It comes from the root Tad, meaning that, he, she, that, it. Right? That means thatness, that Paramatma, that that ultimate absolute. It is, we use the word Tattvamasi. Thou art that. Even though that is Paramatma, you are also that. Tattvamasi, thou art that. So, Om Bhu Bhuva Swaha Tat. Savitu Varenyam. Om Bhubhuvasva Savita Devasya Varenyam. In these three worlds, what is worth worshipping, what is worth choosing is this Savita Dev in front of us. Then he says, Tat Bhargaha Dhimai, that. But what that? Bhargaha, the effulgence, the light. He says, in these three worlds, this Savita Devi who is in front of us is worth worshipping, is worth choosing. But he does not say, I meditate upon that Savita Devi. He does not say, I meditate upon that. He says, Tat Bhargaha Dhimai. I meditate upon his Bhargaha, his effulgence. Many years ago, we had gone to see the solar eclipse at Konark. It was for the first time the solar eclipse could be seen from a sun temple. And so in 1980 we had gone to see it. There's a point comes where the sun is fully covered by the black disk. But the effulgence of the sun, the white effulgence of the sun is there. So there's no light, but still there's a light of light, the effulgence. You know, what do you call it? So when we talk of Bharga, Bharga means the light of that light, the shining part of that light, that which gives a shine. So he's saying, I don't, meditate upon the light on the Dev in front of me, the sun, I meditate upon the effulgence. Now, we can understand this in a different way. Take the effulgence to mean the rays of the sun. It is because of the rays of the sun that food is created and we can eat that food. It is because of the rays of the sun that the atmosphere is created and we can breathe from the atmosphere. And it is because of the rays of the sun that the five senses can work. I can see you, I can feel you, right? So, in Gurdjieff's language, this is called as three kinds of food. The effulgence is what? Three kinds of food. But he says, I meditate upon that. I meditate upon that. So we have to, if we want to meditate upon the effulgence of the sun, right, on the rays of light of the sun, then how do we eat our food? Do we extract sensitivity from the food we eat, or we just eat the food? Then we are not extracting that. Tat bhargaha dhimai. I meditate upon that. Yaha naha dhiyo prachodaya. Now, from dhimahi the mantra changes. Till dhimahi, the mantra is in singular. From dhimahi, it becomes plural, right? So here there's a big mystery over here, right? It says, Om Savita Devasya Varenyam Tat Bharga. Till here it is singular. Dhimahi. It's not I meditate upon, it is we meditate upon. It is plural over here. It is we meditate upon. So he's saying, till here the mantra is singular, suddenly it becomes, what do you call? Plural. And here is a big mystery because thousands of writers have written different explanations of why it has become, what do you call, plural over here, right? Yaha naha, right? Yaha naha dhiyo prachodaya. Now, the word yaha, actually the word is yad, and the meaning is which or who. So he's saying, Savita Devasya Varenyam, right? This Savita Dev is worth choosing, worth worshipping. but devasya of the dev tat, but of that dev tat bhargaha dhimahi, we meditate upon that bhargaha. Who? That bhargaha, right? That bhargaha, which that bhargaha as which? Naha. Now Naha is old Sanskrit, right? So it means ours. It means ours, right? That bhargaha, which our Dio. Dio means our intelligence, our intellect, what we will be talking about these few days, right? Again, here it is singular. Dio prachodayat. Prachodayat means it to inspire. It comes from the word, the root chud, to inspire. That is, that bhargaha, I meditate upon that bhargaha, and by meditating upon that bhargaha which gives our, what do you call, intelligence, yah, naha, dio, our intelligence, an inspiration to awaken. Can you get? This is the basic meaning of the mantra. So, here we see bhu bhuva swaha. We meditate upon dhimahi, on what the bharga, on the rays of the sun, not on the sun. And those rays give us food to eat. So we change the way we eat our food in such a way that we extract something from the food which awakens our intelligence. Yaha naha dhiyo prachodaya. Right? We breathe in a certain way. We don't breathe just mechanically. We breathe in a certain way. And that is why here we see that three-step rhythmic breathing becomes so important. Right? We breathe in a certain way that by each breath we are awakening that intelligence within us. And we are conscious of the prana of impressions coming inside. What Mr. Tavaria calls as incoming impulses. Now here we have to just understand something. That I look at you, do I really see you or do I see something else? When attention falls upon you, you are broken down into electromagnetic impulses. Those impulses come through my eye, and the inner manas, the inner mind, recreates your picture on the screen of my mind. And I say I am looking at you. Can you see? So, very high quality prana called electromagnetic impulses, or the Shastra calls it as tanmatra, is coming in through the five senses. It is creating a picture inside. I say I am looking at you. I am not in reality looking at you. I am looking at your recreated picture inside the mind. Right? Now, can I transform that prana? Can I do this consciously? Then I am meditating on that bharga, because I see you, your picture is coming in because of the light of the sun, the rays of the sun. You understand? So he's saying, how do we meditate? You don't have to meditate upon the sun. Those rays give us the food to eat. Those rays give us the air to breathe. Those rays allow the five senses to, what do you call, experience life. Are you experiencing each of these consciously? Are you doing it with consciousness? Then you are meditating upon that, what do you call, that effulgence of the sun. And by meditating upon the effulgence of the sun, its rays are awakening your intelligence. And when that rays are awakening intelligence, the intelligence will flower, and you will be able to understand this whole creative process. It will become an understanding for you. You will realize the secret of this creative process. Now this is the basic, what do you call, meaning of the mantra. Now we have to go a little deeper over here. Right? Now this line, Om Bhubhuva Swaha, Savita Devasya Varenyam, it can be taken in two ways. It can be taken in two ways. first way we saw that we, in this Bhu Swa, this Savita Dev is worth choosing, worth worshipping. This is the first way. And we are not meditating upon her, we are meditating upon her effulgence. From that effulgence we get food to eat, we get air to breathe, we get impressions to come in, and we are taking those in consciously, and when we take in those consciously, they awaken our intelligence. Right? But this one line here can also mean something different also. And that is Savita Devasya, it can also mean the Dev of Savita. The Dev of Savita. Right? So here we can say that Savita Dev, which is shining in front of us, or there is a God of Savita, there is a son of the sun. There is a son of the sun, and that is worth choosing. Savita Devasya Vareya. Not the sun which is shining in front of us, but the son of the sun is worth choosing. Now both these meanings can come in the mantra. Right? Now if we take the son of the sun, then it would mean the absolute, God the absolute. That is worth choosing. Tat Bhargaha Dhimahi. Tat Bhargaha Dhimahi. Now here comes the thing. So definitely we don't know what is the rays of light of that sun. We know what are the rays of light of this sun, and we can definitely meditate upon the food we eat and etc. etc. How do we meditate upon that? So then the secret lies in this first line which the, what do you call it, the two disciples of Vishwamitra put, Om Bhubhuva Swaha. And so they now are giving us, in Gayatri Sadhana, they are dividing that Gayatri Sadhana into two parts. The first part they are saying you have to meditate upon these three things, because you are doing sadhana of the sun which is in front of you. But now you want to do sadhana of the God of the sun. You want to go beyond. You go into the higher state of Gayatri. So, and that means you go from Bhu Swaha, you penetrate time and you go beyond time into Jana Tapa Satya. Right? So that is the second part of Gayatri Sadhana. And that means, what do you call, you have to penetrate that, what do you call, the egg of Brahman, which is called as Mahakal. You penetrate that egg of Brahman called Mahakal. What does it mean? Can we start it from now, or do we have to just do this first and do that? We start it from now. We take both the meanings together of the Gayatri Mantra. Now, in that absolute, when everything goes back into that absolute, nothing remains. What remains when everything goes back into that? When pralay happens, when everything retracts into the original source, two things remain. One is memory of that I had created some world, God knows when, which is the seed of memory, right? And the other, the desire to create again, which we call as its Ichha Shakti, right? The desire to create. So everything comes out of desire energy, right? So now, to retract, for everything to go back, we must break the, boundary of memory. Move through the boundary of memory. So when a rocket goes right to the atmosphere, right, then there's a special propulsion fuel, a new, and then the rocket uses that force to break through the atmosphere, then go to the moon or wherever from there. So to break through the atmosphere, it needs a special force, a special propulsion over there. Similarly, man has only two chains binding him. In one hand is memory and in the other is desire. If he can rise above both these, he is free. Now, in the second part of Gayatri Sadhana, which Mr. Tavaria calls as memory bypass, he calls that as memory bypass. We have to practice from now, not becoming a victim of memory. Does not mean we don't use memory, we break our, imprisonment of memory. We are totally imprisoned by memory. Right? How will we do that? How will we start that? How will we start that?
I mean, in a conversation, many times when somebody's talking about something, you may bring up something from your memory, but it has nothing to do with the current
conversation.
So you could try to consciously stop bringing up your experience when someone's talking about their experience.
Just an example. Just an example. Today we went to her home, right? So there, what did we see? Dog.
Yeah.
And then I say, I also have a dog.
Right.
Now, here, this is mechanical repetition of memory. You understand, right? If you want to say it, you can pause over there and come back after 5 minutes and then say it. But at that moment, you are breaking the chain of memory. Can you understand what I'm trying to say? So, in normal conversation where memory is not needed, it's just a waste, we sort of break the chain over there. Where something comes from memory, it's not urgent, we pause over there. We want to say it, but we don't want to say it as a slave of memory. Right? So, over a period of time, the grip that memory has on us, it slowly starts breaking, and we may, you see, supposing for a few moments in the day, maybe 5 or 6 moments, you take out 5 minutes in the day, 1 minute in the morning, 1 minute in the afternoon, and just feel your being, just to be. Just to be. You don't become. You don't become. The minute I become my name, then I'm a husband, I'm a, wife or child or mother, father, etc. Right? But just to be, then I'm not a husband, I'm not a wife, I'm nothing over here. Just to be. And in that being, there is no memory. There is no memory. The minute the being becomes becoming, then I become a husband, or I become a wife, or I become a father, or I become a mother, or I become a boss, or I become an employee, etc., etc. Can you understand this? So, in just being, many years ago, there was a very beautiful spiritual teacher, and he had a small group who used to come to him and they used to meditate and all that. And very nice person. And whenever I used to go to his town, I used to meet him and we used to get along very well. And he had very deep, love for me. So then he wrote a book. And the name of the book was Badhu Chuti Jase, Janwa Vado Rahi Jase. Right? So, everything will fall, everything you will leave, but the knowing will always be there. postcard in the book that you please write what you feel about this book. So, of course, I couldn't write Gujarati, I had to ask my wife to write for me. Say, જાણવું પણ કર્મ છે, જાણવા વાળો છૂટી જાય ત્યારે હોવા વાળો બચી જાય છે, રહી જાય છે. So then I didn't send it. He was much older than me, and it didn't seem right to me to send it to him. But what I'm trying to say, you understand what even the act of knowing is memory. In the very act of knowing there is memory. But in the act of being, in just to be, there is no memory. And if we can get few glimpses of that, where we are just without memory, just to be, I'm nothing, nothing, not male, not female, not anything else, right? In that glimpse we get where we have bypassed memory, we have gone above memory. We have, our rocket has gone beyond Bhu Swaha into the beyond Maha, the atmosphere, into Jana Tapa Satyam. So the second practice they have put in. So the Gayatri Mantra we have to take in two ways. The first practice of Gayatri Mantra is Om Bhubhuva Swaha, right? Savita Devasya Varenyam. I choose, I worship this Savita Dev in front of me, right? I meditate on her Bharga, on his Bharga. We meditate upon his Bharga, not I. We meditate upon his Bharga. His Bharga, by meditation I mean I consciously take in the food I eat, I consciously take in the air I breathe, I consciously take in the impressions. And when I do that, as I extract consciousness from that, one day that consciousness will fill up the dam inside me and the dam will explode and my inner, what you call intelligence, will reveal the real truth to me. It will open up that inner intelligence within me. Now, then we can take this Gayatri Mantra in a different way. Om Bhubhuva Swaha, and we take Om as the 7 lokas, Bhubhuva Swaha Mahajana Tapa Satyam, because that is intrinsic in Omkar. And we say Savita Devasya Varenyam, the God of Savita is worth choosing, not Savita Dev, but the God of this sun is worth choosing, right? The Dev, what we had that serial, no? Devoka Dev, Mahadev or something, right? The Dev of the Dev is worth choosing, right? We meditate on its Bharga. What is its Bharga? Freedom from memory, that freedom from memory. And in that, we awaken that intelligence which allows us to see that ultimate and experience that ultimate truth. So this would be, in short, I've gone very short, what is the Gayatri Mantra about. If anyone has any questions, we can still take those questions.
So anytime we're operating from language or thought, we're operating from memory. How do you, so it's almost automatic if I see a picture, if I see a desk, that the word comes, the language comes. There may be times where there's an image, but most of the time it's completely the word. How do you go beyond the word? Because as soon as the word comes, you know it's a thought.
Now, there's a sensitivity involved. And if you can sort of dissolve into that sensitivity, there is a cutoff from memory at some point. Right? Now, supposing you're eating an apple. So, till a point the taste is, this is apple. But the minute you go deeper into the sensitivity, at one moment it doesn't matter, it is not apple any longer. So the memory has gone. But there's just the joy of the sensitivity. So in that moment you bypass the memory. Okay? So you have to use your attention and the energy of sensitivity. Energy of sensitivity. And this is in everything. Right? So if you're wearing your shoes, for a moment you pause and you just feel, you're putting your foot into something, you're occupying something. Right? And in that sensitivity, you will forget the memory of shoe. These are very, very powerful but small meditations which we can do. Especially when we are eating food, we can do it very easily to go into this. Sensitivity is general. Apple is not general. Can you see? Apple is it is particular. This is an apple, right? And this is a strawberry. This is particular. But when you're at a point of where you're experiencing that joy of the sensitivity, it becomes general. It doesn't matter whether apple, whatever it is. Now, the sensitivity of occupying something. So for some time we are occupying this room. Right? Now this room is particular. But the sensitivity of occupying is general. Then in that is the sensitivity of the essence occupying this body. That's sensitive. And in that moment you are free of the attachment to the body. Okay? So if you can move into the energy of sensitivity, first of all, past and future drops because sensitivity is always in the deep, and you go deeper and deeper or higher and higher into the present moment, and at some point it goes completely, the memory goes completely, and in that moment you get a glimpse of freedom from memory. Otherwise, our whole lives, not a single second are we free of memory. And there can be no freedom without freedom of memory, from memory. So
again, in the process of food, what did you just explain again? So when you're eating the food, your food becomes particular. But
the
then,
food is particular.
Right.
Right? Say you're having a soup. Right? So the soup is particular. But when you dissolve into the different tastes, the sensitivity of the taste, then at one point it's no longer particular. There's just the joy of sensitivity. And at that moment, memory drops for a fraction of a second. And in that moment, you're free of memory. Now, one small thing, say. We lose our keys. Right? So we don't remember where we have not lost the keys, but we don't remember where we had put the keys. Now, supposing I put the keys over here, but then I pick them up again, and the sensitivity of putting them one more time. So if I put it twice, will I forget where I put them? Never forget. Can you get what I'm trying to say? So in that, that not forgetting, there is a sensitivity of mastering memory. Can you?
Because you're present in that moment.
Now here I put them mechanically, but now I made a habit of taking it back, be conscious, and now I'll never forget where I put my key. I put it one more time. But I put it one more time to practice consciousness. And in that consciousness, now I don't have to remember. I know. There's a difference. It's the small things in life, but as you practice the small things, there are moments where you will be free of memory. You will get a glimpse of being free of memory. And in that glimpse, you will have transcended something. And it just can be your cooking something at home. But in that moment, the flavors which are coming, the smells which are coming, and in that just one moment you dissolve into it, just the sensitivity. And then whether it is what you're cooking potatoes or whether you're cooking dal, in that moment the memory is dropped.
So it's easier to conceive of this with sensations or sensitivities which are pleasing. But when painful occurrences occur, that's a little more difficult for me
Yeah, because we are not trained to hold body pain. So for us, it is not possible. If we feel pain in the body, right? But there is psychological pain, there is emotional pain, and that we can resolve it. Right? So maybe not physical pain. We cannot use physical pain. And it's not very, worthwhile also to go on that path. We don't want to sleep on a bed or nails or something like that. Right? So, but there is emotional pain, just husband and wife. And he says something which has hurt her. Now, the pain, and you can dissolve into that pain. At that moment, there's no husband, there's nothing. There's just sensitivity of pain.
So again, dissolve in pain meaning so
Just
here
hold it.
Oh, hold it.
Hold it. What are we doing tomorrow? If I take the Karma Sutras, right? We can talk a little bit about Karma tomorrow. Then you will understand what I'm saying. That at a certain point, initially there are all kinds of thoughts that he hurt me, he did this. At a certain point of holding the pain, all thoughts drop. And when you dissolve into that sensitivity, all that remains is the person who is looking. In Tavaria ji's language, you take Mr. Tavaria ji's what he has taught. He says that the perceiving consciousness is full swing. There is no remembering consciousness. There is just a looking consciousness. This requires a lot of practice. It's not going to happen overnight or something. But as you practice this, you'll be able to get it. Bolo. Yeah.
In the example before, what if the attempt of keeping the keys second time also becomes a habit and it becomes mechanical?
Right.
So then,
Right. See, there is a remembering to put it again. And for that remembering, there has to be a pause and a moment of consciousness. Whenever you remember anything. No? The act of remembering, doing it again. You're bringing it out of memory one more time. No? I mean, logically you're right. But when you go to do it, you will see the difference. Logically, I can say it 3 times also. Right?
I was referring to exercises. It happens a habit, and I'm not trying to able to get out of mechanical.
In the exercises, make one point that which muscles are tense, keep trying to relax them. So there's always a conscious effort involved in your exercises. And in that relaxing, try dissolving into that tension relaxation, right? So the exercises don't remain exercises, they become the tool for the highest consciousness. Right now, so I'm holding my leg, now there's tension here. I just consciously relax, I can't leave my legs, can you see? But I can consciously relax these muscles and do the exercise. And in the moment of sensitivity where I'm consciously feeling the tension, trying to dissolve the tension, there'll be a moment of no tension and I'll experience it. It's a very simple thing. Right? Now stay here. Now the breath has come to here. Okay, now can I make one more effort? Can I push the breath up to here? Then suddenly I feel something over here. Right? So I'm making that effort in the exercise, and in that sensitivity I gain something. Now this exercise. If I just pull in my, solar plexus a little, then there's pain also and there's a feeling all over. I can just move into that feeling for some time. And this is in all the exercises. Now, 4th exercise, if I take a deep breath first, now it's full, there's no more space, but I push the air. Can you see I'm pushing, right? Now it cannot become mechanical. How can it become mechanical? because you're already full. Now you're pushing, you have to keep on pushing. And then I blow out. It cannot become a cat. But if I just do, then it becomes a cat. So, in the end, it's the Gayatri Mantra, awakening of intelligence. And that intelligence, you see, you get something from the Guru. But you have to make that your own. Right? The Guru just gives you an outline. These are the 6 exercises. But you have to make those exercises your own. They are no longer belonging to the Guru. Can you understand? And it is that creative process which takes you up. The generative process, the creative process of Gayatri. I mean, saying the mantra is one thing, but living the mantra is also important, no? Or you just say the mantra in the morning. To live the mantra also. Well, any other questions?
Yesterday you had said that the sanskar can only be broken by resonance or the light of consciousness. So when you said light of consciousness, you're saying give understanding. Is that what you mean?
No.
Huh.
Understanding is the resultant. Right? But even what I'm doing is through understanding. But understanding on its own, if I've understood it and I'm not doing it, then I've not understood it properly. I've not understood it from the heart. I've understood it from here. Can you understand? See, understanding, it has what you call the color of love. Because knowing is from the head, understanding is from the heart. And when the heart is involved, love is involved. Can you get it? Say yesterday you were talking of balance. Right? Now, do I know these exercises or do I understand these exercises? Now, if I love something, then in all 24 hours I am going to find time to do it. Can you understand? Because I love it. But then I have understood it, because there the energy of love is there. But if it's only here, then I know it. I'll do it today, but I will let this today, then I'll do it tomorrow. You get it? So when you're young and you fall in love for the first time, right? And you may be tired from office the whole day, you're tired. But if your lover says, come, let us sit and look at the moon for 5 hours, you're not going to say, I'm tired from the office or something else. There is love. Of course, love goes away is a different thing. Then office comes in, but that is a different thing. Right? You understand what I'm trying to say?
And there's a pull of love.
Yeah, full of love. So in understanding, that factor of love is always there in understanding. Whenever you understand anything, it doesn't have to be connected with spirituality. Right? You may be doing research on something, but you've understood what you're doing, then there's love for that research. Then you'll forget your eating, you'll forget your, you will forget you have a wife at home or whatever. Yeah, right. So, can you get what I'm trying to say? That passion comes in. Somebody was asking about white hot heat, but that comes through understanding. What I was saying is that when I'm looking at the anger, observing the anger, I'm throwing the light of consciousness on the anger, and that light of consciousness itself transforms. But before that, there must be an understanding of this. Otherwise, people come and say, I want to get rid of all my anger. You cannot get rid of all your anger. You have to observe your anger. So one is by throwing the light of consciousness, one is by mantra, creating, and one is also by what you call exercise. Because all these, what you call sanskars, lie in the muscles. And as at certain points in the muscles where we put what you call tension, relaxation, we are loosening that sanskar, we are loosening that pattern. That is also a way of doing it. It's an electrical way of doing it. So I think one of the questions was between karma and the chakra. Somebody was asked, one of those was written? Was that? Or is that in the LA list? I don't remember.
In a
LA list, sorry. Anyway, we'll take this tomorrow. Now I'm getting all muddled up. Good. Anything else? Yeah.
We also have some kind of automatic response to things, right? Two things. Some event happens, there is an automatic response. Right? So now, trying to consciously do something, the automatic response will act faster. Right? So, how do we work on that?
It's a habit. It's a habit. Right? And we have to consciously create a new habit. Right? So wherever there's an automatic response, we create a new habit of pausing that response. Right? It's not going to happen overnight, but as we practice it, the pause comes in and we stop the automatic response. Right? And then once the pause comes in, then there's space for consciousness to come in, understanding to come in. But in automatic, there is no space for understanding. Somebody the other day was telling me that, I think you were telling me, that when somebody wants to help you, but if you give an automatic, what do you call, you deny the help. So, after he told me, I was just going through my life, where all I have seen such cases, and he was so right, you see, because somebody may want to help you, but because something in what he has said we have disliked, and we automatically react to him, and that help which was coming from that direction gets stopped over there. Gets stopped. Good. Shall we stop? Pause for till tomorrow? Okay, thank you. Good night.
2 minutes, can you do that Omkar?
Okay, huh?
Omkar practice that.
Oh, you want to do Omkar practice? Shall we do it? Yeah. You remember the Omkar? Yeah. So we start, take a deep breath. We'll do 5 Omkars. Yeah. Take a deep breath, little with the mouth. Again, take a deep breath, little with the mouth.